Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be doing an artwork inspired by the artist. His name is Phil Ross, and he actually makes mycelium blocks. And we're going to be using mushrooms, which actually are what composed this block, and we're going to be using those in our artwork today. All right, before beginning the project, show the Science Friday video. The link is on our resource page. Also, make sure to print out one of the diagrams here. And these diagrams have all the information about the mushroom, and they could be able to label this as they go through and observe their mushrooms. For the project, you're actually going to need 4 or 5 different kinds of mushrooms. Make sure that the mushrooms that you get are whole and uncut. So you get this from any farmer's market or any store. Then you're going to need white paper, black paper, ink, a butter knife, hairspray, as well as a bowl and a magnifying glass. For part 2, you can leave the diagram up somewhere for reference. Each group will need a selection of mushrooms to study. So there's a certain kind, maybe something like portobello mushrooms, or maybe king trumpet mushrooms. And each group could have a piece of paper with a name on it. Next, they're going to need a butter knife, magnifying glass, and several sheets of white paper. Make sure that you actually hold back one gilled mushroom. So that's a gilled mushroom. You can see all the gills in it. Make sure you hold back one of those for spore printing later on in the process. With this process, you can go ahead and use a butter knife that will cut a mushroom perfectly fine. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to be making stamp prints with them. So make sure you have a nice clean sheet of paper.
I don't have a pen. Now I do.
And then go ahead and just put your mushroom in the ink pad and then make a stamp. Can I use your sheet? Ta-da!
My favorite color is blue.
If you have a bundle of mushrooms, you might do this one a little bit different. And instead of cutting one mushroom at a time, you might cut the bundle in half. And do the same thing where you take this section, dip it in the ink, and make a print of the mushroom there. You could use a pencil and label all the parts of a mushroom. But let's go ahead and start by doing it ourselves. Ready? Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. Who wants to do this one? Okay, so Anna's going to do this one. I'm going to cut that one. Everyone, look at me really quick. All right, for our next step, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting to label sections of our mushrooms. So right here is a diagram. And you can use a diagram to reference. So right here, I've labeled the cap, but you might want to label the rest of the parts of the mushroom. Okay? How about draw an arrow to parts of the mushroom? So the cap is the very top. It kind of looks like a hat, doesn't it?
These are caps.
Caps. So why don't you go ahead and draw an arrow to them?
Almost like
and then you can put caps.
Like a normal.
All right. So next, what we have to do is we have to make our chart. Okay? So let's take a look. Yep, so we have to look at this, and let's try to think of one way to describe something, okay? So if I look at this, and I look at maybe, what color is it?
White. White.
White. So this is our bunapi, and we're going to put white for our color. Let's see, what kind of cap does it have? What kind of cap? The cap's the top.
It says that's a white. White.
Is it round? Is it pointing up? Is it upside down?
Round and pointing down.
Round and down, okay. Round and down.
Is it a model? That's almost right there.
How about inside? What color are those gills inside? Do you see the gills
White.
inside?
No. And pointy.
White and pointy. White and pointy.
Like that.
Okay, and what shape do you think they're all in together? What do they kind of look like?
A castle.
A castle type, okay. Okay. Let's look at the cap.
It's like round.
It's round. Is it big or small?
I see this. Big.
Round and big. Is it up or down?
Down. No.
Down. Okay. Gills. What does that look like inside?
Ooh, fish's gills.
Fish's gills. What color is it?
Black.
So now for our spore prints. So these are going to be our material list here. So first you're going to need a mushroom, a gilled mushroom. So something maybe like a portobello, shiitake, or other kinds, as long as you can see the gills. The fresher the better. That way it'll release our spores for us. Also, you're going to need a bowl, something large enough to cover your mushroom. Okay? And you're going to need a white and black sheet of paper, as well as a knife. And with this, we're all set. So, all right. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take your mushroom and you're going to cut off the stem right here.
Oh, that's my favorite part.
The umbrella. So we're going to cut that off. Okay. And that usually kind of comes off pretty easily. Now it should look something like that. But in order to get a really good print, we're going to need to make sure that it connects. So all of this has to touch. And how we could do that is we could actually cut off the ends right over here. So you can use your knife and cut off these ends here a little bit, so that way all of the gills will show. So it's all cut around the edges, the stem's cut out, and it's ready to be put down. So what we did is we actually put two pieces of paper, our black and our white one, side by side, and what we're going to do is we're going to just put our mushroom right there, and we're actually going to cover it up with the bowl. And we're just going to let that sit. So we're going to sit here and watch this for maybe about overnight, so maybe 8 hours. Okay, here we go. All right, so welcome back. So now we use some movie magic, and now ready? It's only been maybe about 3 hours under here. But look, it's already starting to form some of the lines here. Do you see that? And if you actually could see this in the camera world, you can't see, but there's actually some of that here on the black as well. And that's why we use the black and the white. So that way it can reveal some of our images. So in order to make that process stay, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we use some hairspray. So,
Yes, babe.
yep. So this will make sure that all of this stuff won't come off the paper. So we'll just go. So just again to recap, we started by observing our mushrooms, cutting them, making a chart, and then going ahead and doing our prints. We did two kinds of prints. We did our ink prints as well as our spore prints. Thanks for joining us today. Come back and visit us on DART as well as here at the New Children's Museum.